Part 10. I dated her for about 6 months. The second girlfriend I had that lasted more than 3 months was in 2014 when I dated another girlfriend, and this lasted for 9 months. We broke up because she didn't want me to find work because she wanted to spend every day either with me or me and a friend of mine, or with me and a friend of hers. And I really needed to get and maintain employment after years of sabotage, because in my infinite, ignorant and trusting heart, I used to put on Facebook any interview I had coming up. Actually, no, I remember doing that 2 or 3 times, but I also told people my plans and opportunities to my so-called friends, my friends at the time. People came and went, but there was a handful that remained. Everyone else seemed like they were getting jobs, getting employment opportunities, and getting romantic partners. I just feel like I should not have spoken about these opportunities. So there was a lot of pressure to sleep. Around to at least have a girlfriend, and these things just weren't happening for me. At times, I felt like I wasn't a man. I was worthless, and I wasn't of any value to anyone. I was always putting my best foot forward with no luck. Once I told absolutely nobody about my plans, then they would turn. Once I told absolutely nobody about any of my plans, then they wouldn't turn to custard. Anyway, this girl that I dated for 9 months had major abandonment issues because her parents had broken up when she was much younger, when she was a child. I went to the movies one Saturday night. She wanted to spend all her time with me and her friends, and she didn't want me to work. So I saw the red flags, and I put an end to the relationship. I have had a couple of girlfriends who dumped me very early into the relationship. One didn't find me attractive, but I didn't find her attractive either for years. For years I was against dating women that I didn't find attractive. I was always against it. But in 2015, a few months after I dumped my girlfriend of 9 months, and I tried dating this other girl, and she dumped me, I'd been dumped by a couple of others, and I now haven't had a girlfriend for coming up to 6 years now. What? 7 years. 7 years. Would have been 7 years since 2015, but it's 8 years now. I don't know what it is, but I'm looking to increase my profit by making money out of my books and my music. The things. I've seen many recordings on YouTube describing signs that love is coming into your life, and in most of these recordings, I have at least half of those signs. But it's been saying this for years. No DMs on the dating websites. Nothing. I don't know, man. I've been trying to get a successful career and other things like this in the past. When it came to women and trying to become wealthy, I was not very successful. I was a loser. But I do think that gang stalking and group mobbing was a deciding factor during these years. Because women respond, bracket, from my experience, bracket, to men who have success and status. Overall, it's obvious that the hookup culture is primarily toxic. The 2 women I've slept with and sexually penetrated, one I met at my favourite nightclub at the time and had a one-night stand, because in 2017 I decided to lose my virginity by having sex with the first woman that offered herself to me. And so that's exactly what I did. And the other one was a woman whom I knew from the church, but we hadn't seen each other in years, and we met at a drinking party. We chatted, and we had a good catch up, and then we had sex. So all in all, I think the hookup culture is toxic, and we all need love. But I think it has made it a lot harder for men like me. But I still believe in love. And there is the right everlasting love. Chapter 8. Take a stand and stand your ground. This is chapter 8. That was chapter 7. Hookup culture. This is chapter 8 of 11. Take a stand and stand your ground. There are differences from self-awareness and selfishness. One means that you know what you want, you know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and are willing to put the hard work in to become successful and to get what you want. People pleasing has not been of any benefit to anyone, our generation included. People called us narcissistic, entitled, and spoiled little brats. Although we were, to a certain extent, we were young. I remember not even remembering my generation's name, due to the fact that I viewed most of them as far more lucky and privileged than I was. They were getting far, far more employment opportunities than I was. I also didn't really look at the house prices because I believed that if you paid your rent, then you could do whatever you want. As long as you paid your rent and didn't break anything, the house was yours forever. Obviously, this is not the case. Landlords can kick you out if they don't like your lifestyle and or don't believe in the things that you believe in. As far as the claims of us being spoiled little brats. Number one, you guys raised us. If, and I mean if, a person was raised in a well-to-do environment, well, the parents were the ones who raised them up in that environment. And many millennials were not raised in a well-off environment. Many were raised in a poor environment. We believed that we were getting all this great stuff, but look at the state of the West. Shit. We went from booming in the 80s and 70s and even the early 2000s, but when we stepped into the after-school world, there had already been multiple crashes in the stock market, job market, and housing market. Once I left my parents' house, I learned that just because you pay your rent and you never break anything, it doesn't mean that you won't get kicked out if your lifestyle and your beliefs don't line up with your landlord's. Then you better pray that they're merciful about those things and don't kick you out. It is 8:30 p.m. right now as I write this to you, all of you. You, this specific reader or listener included. It is Saturday the 27th of August 2022, 2 days after the woman who gave birth to me's birthday, and I'm proud of myself because that's her third birthday in a row that she didn't hear from me. It's been 4 now. Her birthday's on August the 25th and now we're on the 28th. Yay! Anyway, back to what I was talking about before. Something is a reiteration of my explanation as to explaining the fact that we were raised by our parents. Number 2, all of those claims were bullshit. As far as what has been left behind for us here in the West was a mess of the old system, and we have adapted, we have created tiny homes, we have our own opinions on politics. I believe that we can keep the current system, however there needs to be something in place so that the prices for tiny homes don't grow in prices, and thus do the same thing that our parents done to us without even thinking about it. Or were they? Who cares? The thing is that we have adapted and we still become successful. I also believe that we can stop it. We can stop the domestic violence. We can stop the neglect. And we can stop the selfishness from being expressed to our children through us as a result of our parents. This whole generation of narcissist thing in many cases is just pure projection. But in many other cases, they are right. But I view my generation as the young adult generation on a psychological, spiritual, and emotional level. I see the millennial generation as a whole as a generation of young adults on a psychological, spiritual, and emotional level. Whilst the child expects everyone to run around after them and to give them everything they want, the teenager is rebelling against and trying with the parents, other members of the family, and possibly members of their peer groups. The other peer groups and things in other places, whilst the young adults just trying to figure out their own way in life, trying to pave their own path.